Ready.
All right, we're 54 seconds in.
Let's start over.
All right. Hey guys, Justin with Chase Outdoors. It is the Thursday before the Wisconsin fishing opener, and of course it is like Christmas Eve for all of us that own boats and waders. I am with our store manager, Hall of Fame angler, Tom Keenan, and we're here to talk to you guys about some of the things that you should definitely stop here at Chase Outdoors today or tomorrow before the opener. We are going to be open on Saturday as well, and finally most of the ice is off the lakes. Is there anything, have you gotten any reports of lakes that still have ice in the Northwoods?
Oh, yeah.
So there are quite a few.
Oh, yeah.
So
Getting better daily.
Getting better daily, so we still have hope. It looks like it's going to be warm today. A little bit of
Wind.
a little bit of wind, so that's a great thing. But want to touch on some of the things that we have here in the store that you guys might want to stop for on your way. One of those big things is live bait. We've got a delivery coming here like any second, so we're going to be loaded up with all the minnows and crawlers and leeches that that we need for the weekend. So in talking about techniques, one of the things, there's going to be a lot of trout fishermen out there. We actually have these awesome trout spinners from South Bend for only $1. There's a lot of bobbers and jigs in there, so that's a fantastic special. And walleye kind of dominates the conversation, and we have Mr. Walleye with us. So Tom, what are some of your choices for walleyes this weekend?
I think a lot of it's going to be depending where you're going, but if you're fishing northern Wisconsin, which I'm going to be, the last couple of years, I was for a Paul Countdown. It's one of the best baits ever made. It sinks when you throw it. It has very little action. It's slow. The water's cold. The fish are spawning. That's already tied out actually in my rod box, in my boat. Rapala actually comes in new elite colors, which are pretty crazy baits. I know you grabbed one and I took it out of your hand from me. You're welcome. Pretty cool, awesome bait. Last year, Rapala Rip and Wraps, we were fishing deeper water in some of the lakes up north, and was a very good bait. We were throwing number 6, young perch colors, is that color actually. Have tied a mother rod. And the other one that I stole is my good friend Dave Jigs. Makes by far the best weedless jig I've ever seen in my life. That's the best by far I've ever seen. Works through cabbage, obviously depending on what lake you're on. Some of the lakes, most of the lakes are all gonna be pre-spawn, some are gonna be post-spawn. Anything that's post-spawn, the fish will definitely set up on weed edges, sand flats, and stuff like that. If they're pre-spawn, they're probably a little deeper. You just gotta catch them a little deeper, but phenomenal jig by Asian Jigs.
Absolutely. One thing I like about those so much on the river, especially too, is with that lighter wire hook. You can still get a good hook set on them, but they will bend straight if you do get them tucked up into the timber. I think it's an awesome combination of having a quality hook, but one that one you can get out in the very limited case that you would actually get that stuck. Tom did steal my new Elite Countdown that I wanted to highlight. Thank you. But for those of you who've used countdowns for a lot of years, you've got some options, and that is one of these, the new Elite, which is a balsa body one with the hard exterior on it. Those are really great. And the other one that's out there too that's really cool is the X-Wrap Countdown. So if you fished these baits before, we actually have all 3 of these new styles that it might be a great differentiator for you.
That X-Wrap you picked out too, that's probably, you want to catch the biggest trout, you live in your river, throw that bait right there.
Yeah, that's great.
If you want to catch big brown trout, that's the big throw.
This one's got a wider lip on it, so it's got a little bit more action, a little bit more wobble. One of the things too is walleye isn't always on the menu. It's not the only thing, just because that's the opener. Crappie fishing should be excellent this weekend. We've got sun coming up. The fish should be able to be found with electronics very easily. Even in some cases, maybe even visible on side imaging and up shallower than some people might think. But when we're talking about using those, obviously live bait's great, but plastics dominate that conversation too. Z-Man's got a whole new line of soft plastic baits for panfish. That's something that they haven't been doing before. I really like this shad fry. They have about 6 different models. Obviously, pink, big color for me. In addition to that, these thumpers from Secret Weapon, which is a locally made bait that you won't find in many places, has been really good for us. It's got a flat tail on it, so on the fall, it's got a lot of motion. We like that. He's got some great colors.
I caught as many walleyes on that last year. I think I see a crappie.
It's kind of got.
I caught a lot of walleyes in that bait last year.
It's kind of got like that fuzzy grub type body profile that could do really good. And that's just one of the things with being a locally owned store is we get access to some of these things like the Invasions jigs, like the Secret Weapons. And another thing we've really come to love are these Cade custom rods. This is the Carbon 1 Walleye series. Kurt has been in working with Tom to try to figure out what's the best action for a lot of these walleye tactics. So if you're looking for an American made and locally made rod, I mean, the guides are the best that you can get. The feel and balance is incredible. Another thing that you're not going to find at the big boxes, you should really come in and put your hands on
Custom
those.
built me a steelhead rod this year. by far the best rod I've ever had in my life. It is an incredible rod, and that guy knows how to build a rod. He's awesome.
As far as other tactics, what are things people should be looking at?
You know, I think the biggest thing right now, depending where you're going, is when's the ice go out and how long will it go out. You know, obviously fish are going to be spawning. They're going to be skinny. Walleyes up north are going to be in less than 5 feet of water more than likely. Target them. Any windswept shoreline, if it gets in, it's going to be a little bit windy, going to be a little rainy. Some people that discourage them, I should encourage them.
Yeah.
It actually makes the fish easier to catch in Wisconsin and gin clear water. Instead of getting a late morning, early morning bite, you're probably going to get an all-day bite, which is pretty awesome. You know, we talk about throwing crankbaits if it's a countdown or if you throw. The advantage of throwing a countdown is you catch a lot of bonus fish.
Yeah.
You catch a big giant smallie, you might catch a bonus big pike or some other fish when you're not even targeting them, which is pretty fun to catch a big fish when you're not planning on catching them, especially on pretty light tackle. I think the biggest thing I tell people right now though is obviously as cold it is, everything's got to be slow.
Yep.
Everything we have to slow down, whether if we're throwing plastic, if we're throwing countdowns, if we're throwing jig and minnows, slow down, and that's just what it is. And I'm guessing water temps are going to be, 42 degrees or less, and which is encouraging for what we want to do. Actually, should make fishing awesome. Last year, the ice went out on Friday.
Yep.
It was the best opener I've ever seen in my life. And I'm guessing we're going to get the same thing in the next couple days. One of my favorite lakes is still iced, and I'm hoping it goes out Friday because that means Saturday is going to be a great fishery.
Yeah,
but,
we just opened up.
I live on the Plover River here locally. I stopped and looked at it today. The people are going to fish the Trout are going to have a phenomenal opener.
Yeah.
The water was really high last week. The waters came back down. There's actually some bugs hatching. I'd imagine probably going to the best Wisconsin Trout opener in a long, long time. So guys are going to do that. Are going to have a great time.
Yeah, and to touch on the local thing too, even though our season for walleyes is open year round, it's still a great option for anglers. To have probably some of the best fishing is going to be had right here in central Wisconsin. We've been on Lake Dubay. All these walleyes are on the post spawn. They're starting to slide back to their post spawn flats, and it's just kind of like it's a drop back flat, if you would. And we've been trolling and picking up some really nice fish, trolling originals like F11s, F13s, shallow shad wraps. Those have all been really great options. The Eau Plaine is going to be open for people looking for warmer water. Those fish are going to be into the post.
That should be a good
post spawn bite.
Yeah.
So a lot of those fish wind swept shallow shores. And one thing for safety, because we've been cooped up for winter all the time, if you have the opportunity to wear shorts and are white as pasty as I am, no one's going to run into you. They will mistake you for a lighthouse. So if you have the option to wear shorts, I'd suggest doing that for safety purposes as well. You got anything else?
Nope, I'm looking forward to it. My boss is nice to get me off the day before the opener, so I actually get to prep for a day ahead of time. We've been very busy at the store, and I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, sounds good. Stop by the next couple days, see us at Chase Outdoors, and we wish you the safest and the best of luck in this fishing opener.